The Architecture of Autonomy, Moving Beyond the Pyramid, by Daniel Mason. For centuries, the human experience has been funneled through the narrow neck of the pyramid, from the feudal estates of the Middle Ages to the corporate conglomerates and centralized bureaucracies of the modern era. How social and economic life has been defined by a vertical reality. In this structure, value flows upward, while permission flows downward. We are conditioned to look to the apex for our identity, our currency, and our security. But the pyramid is a fragile geometry. It requires dependency to survive. To truly evolve, we must dismantle the scaffolding of the vertical hierarchy and replace it with a horizontal landscape of sovereignty. We are not just looking for a new leader. We are looking for a system that allows every individual to become the sovereign ruler of their own destiny. The crisis of the apex. The fundamental flaw of the pyramid structure is the single point of failure. Whether it is a central bank, a national government, or a social media titan, these entities hold the keys to our digital and physical lives. When the apex falters, or when it decides to exert its leverage, the individual is left powerless. This is not a failure of the people within the system, but of the architecture itself. To end this dependency, we must shift from systems of permission to systems of protocol. Pillar I. The self-sovereign identity. In the pyramid, you exist because the state or a corporation says you do. They own your data, your history, and your digital footprint. Sovereignty begins with the reclamation of the self. Through self-sovereign identity, we move to a model where the individual holds their own keys. No one can delete your identity or restrict your movement across the digital frontier. You become the sole curator of your credentials, sharing only what is necessary, when it is necessary. In this model, you are no longer a user or a subject. You are an independent node. Pillar II. Economic decoupling. True sovereignty is impossible if your means of exchange is controlled by the very structure you seek to outgrow. The pyramid uses debt and inflation as tools of tethering. To become rulers of our own destiny, we must embrace decentralized economic engines. This isn't just about currency, it's about the democratization of value. By utilizing peer-to-peer networks and algorithmic transparency, we remove the toll booths of the elite. When an individual can trade, invest, and build value without an intermediary's blessing, the pyramid's base begins to dissolve into a web of independent, thriving microeconomies. Pillar III. Subsidiarity and the Tao. Governance has long been synonymous with ruling. In a sovereign system, governance is replaced by coordination. The principle of subsidiarity dictates that power should reside at the most local level possible, starting with the individual. Decentralized autonomous organizations provide the blueprint for this. These are not top-down hierarchies but opt-in communities governed by code and consensus. They allow for collective action without a CEO at the top. You participate because it aligns with your destiny, not because you're a cog in someone else's machine. The shift from subject to architect. The transition to sovereignty requires a psychological shift. We have been trained to be dependents, waiting for the paycheck, the permit, or the policy. Becoming a sovereign ruler of your own destiny means accepting the responsibility of the architect. It means building local energy grids, supporting open source intelligence, and prioritizing privacy as a human right. It means moving away from a world of too big to fail toward a world of too small to be controlled. Conclusion. The pyramid is an ancient relic. It was built for an age of scarcity and slow information. Today, we have the tools to build a different geometry, a mesh network of sovereign individuals who cooperate by choice rather than necessity. The end of dependency is not a revolution of the masses. It is an evolution of the individual. When we own our data, our money, and our choices, the pyramid doesn't need to be toppled. It simply becomes irrelevant. Daniel Mason is a strategist and advocate for decentralized systems and individual autonomy. His work focuses on the intersection of technology, philosophy, and the future of human governance.